Hello, my name is Hannah Baldwin. I'm from a small town in Iowa and grew up with the absolute best family ever. I know a lot of people say that, but I actually mean it. This picture was taken on the day after Thanksgiving, one of the many years that the Hawkeyes absolutely demolished the Huskers in football. Somehow I even got my friend Zach, a diehard Oregon Ducks fan, to wear an Iowa shirt for this picture. This picture is missing some of my immediate family because my brother is in the Air Force and has been stationed all around the world. This picture is from 2 Christmases ago with everyone in my family present. It was my first time meeting my nephew Hunter, who's the little blurry guy in the middle. He was 3 and would not sit still for the picture. My nephew Landon was 15 at the time, and teenagers are apparently way too cool to take pictures. He's hiding behind my dad and giving him bunny ears. My family is everything to me. One thing you need to know about me is that I'm single-handedly keeping the hashtag #AntLifeIsTheBestLife alive on Instagram. I am a very proud auntie and love spoiling them all. So here's the whole crew, about 2 years ago as well. Olive's on the left. She's the funniest, smartest, and silliest little gal. I'll share a video of her later. Then there's Landon. I call him my OG nephew. He's 16 now, and as a typical teenager, doesn't want anything to do with me. Hunter's now 5 and is extremely smart. He knew his alphabet and numbers up to 20 before he was even 18 months old. He also loves playing board games and beats me at the game Sorry 100% of the time. I'm enjoying getting to know him now that my brother is retired from the Air Force and has recently moved back to Omaha. Next is Hayden, or as he is lovingly called in our family, the Goose. Hayden is a lover of all animals and is the sweetest boy you'd ever meet. He's also 5. He loves art and is a really great artist. I have many of his paintings and drawings on my desk at work. He's so funny and his laugh is absolutely infectious. Lastly, there's Noah, my brother's oldest. Noah's 7 and is obsessed with video games. He plays Mario games I didn't even know existed and makes me feel old every single time I see him. He's very spunky and full of energy. I'm also loving getting to know Noah better since my brother moved back recently in February. I recently got engaged at the end of last year to Zach. We've been dating for 14 years and finally decided to get married. We're having a very small wedding in Rocky Mountain National Park at a small lake in October of this year. We both hate being the center of attention and found the whole experience of getting engagement pictures to be extremely embarrassing. As such, our favorite pictures from our engagement sessions are the ones with our feet and hands only. The bottom right picture is from the lake where we are getting married. We are hoping the weather cooperates and praying for no snow. These are my babies, Luna and Benny. Luna is almost 4 and Benny is about a year and a half old. Luna's the one with the white on her chest. We got Luna from a local rescue, Short Noses and Friends United, or SNAFU for short. She was a breeder for a commercial breeding system in southern Missouri, and we saved her from a life full of pumping out babies in a crowded barn. The not-so-little guy is Benny. He's the first puppy we've ever had, and boy is he a handful. He's so smart, but apparently his gigantic ears are extremely terrible at listening. These two bring me so much joy and have such different personalities. It's really, really fun to watch them interact with each other. I could not imagine my life without them. I love traveling. I go on at least 2 vacations a year and try to get to places that we've never been. However, we're awfully drawn to Colorado and Oregon for domestic travel. The top left picture is from Costa Rica, where we traveled for one of Zach's best friend's 40th birthday. The top right is from Oregon at Jack Rock, where part of the Goonies was filmed. The bottom left is from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, from a trip where I successfully surprised Zach with a vacation with our best friends for his 35th birthday. The bottom right is from St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands. This was one of my absolute favorite places to visit. This view is from one of the decks on the house we stayed at. It was an absolutely beautiful experience, and the beaches were pristine. This will definitely be a location I visit again. Now I will shift gears and transition into the discussion regarding my experience with the IDI assignment for this class. The intercultural learning opportunity I chose to try is personal interactions. I learn more from other people than from books, movies, or educational programs, so I think this will be the most effective way to work towards my goals. I will seek out opportunities to work on projects at work with people of different cultures than my own, and I also plan to start attending different cultural activities within my own community. The stress point for my IDP I want to discuss is that cultures can often vary within your own culture. As a nurse practitioner, I work with providers from all areas of the world, and I have an opportunity to learn from these unique individuals from all these different cultures. But even providers and patients who appear to be within my own culture still have differences and experiences I can learn from. Step 2 is execution. In my consult with Dr. Fagan, we discussed how in order to understand other cultures and become more culturally competent, I must first understand what makes me who I am and understand my own cultural influences. The things I retained most from my conversation with her was some advice she gave regarding how to figure out my own culture. She recommended paying attention to things others do and say that bother me. She said chances are if what they're doing and saying is bothering me, it goes against some part of my own culture. This can help me narrow down some things that are important to me in defining my culture. As part of my execution plan, I can look at commonalities between new cultures and my own. This is something I'm already doing and is part of the reason why I'm stuck in the minimization stage. I can also look at the culture I'm trying to learn more about and notice differences in my culture and their culture. This will involve me intentionally asking questions of some of my colleagues as to why they do things they do in regards to their cultural background and will help me better understand and answer some questions I have about myself. I plan to continue to work through the reflective activities in the IDP reports throughout my career as a nurse practitioner. This will allow me to assess my practice and assess how I'm progressing towards goals to be in the adaptation stage of cultural competence. Step 3 is my goal. My goal is to better understand how my own culture affects the way I view the world and people around me. The indicator and how I will know I've made progress towards this goal is when I'm able to explain to others how my culture shapes my behaviors and beliefs, and also when I am able to view differences between my culture and other cultures. This is important because I need to understand how my own cultural beliefs and behaviors affect the way I interact with colleagues and patients. I need to understand myself in order to understand other cultures and begin appreciating the differences instead of only celebrating and focusing on the similarities between myself and others. Step 4 is identifying some barriers or challenges that will keep me from reaching my goal. Stress point I observed is that I'm an obliger. I try to make everybody happy and tend to go with the flow. The barrier is I enjoy finding similarities between myself and others and find that it helps make people feel included. However, this is also masking cultural differences and assuming everybody wants to assimilate and be the same as me, which is absolutely not true. In overcoming this barrier, I will need to practice with all my interactions. I will take small steps towards the larger goal of achieving acceptance on the cultural competence scale. I will continue to find similarities between myself and others, yet intentionally start asking people about what traits from their culture make them unique. This will help me learn to celebrate differences and continue to celebrate similarities between myself and others. Step 5 is the takeaway. Before this activity, I had not thought much about my own culture at all. This activity has helped me see how my own culture affects my decision-making and thought processes. I also learned I have a lot of room for improvement. I thought I was more culturally competent than I really am, and it made me aware that I was only seeing the similarities and not celebrating differences between myself and others. I'm excited to continue to use the information learned in this project to adjust my current practice and to continue to become a more culturally competent provider.